Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Wayfind Marketing Live. I'm Steve Phipps, one of the co-hosts, and I'm here with Annie Laurie Walters, our other co-host. And I'm glad it's Friday.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in West Tennessee.
It is actually feeling like fall. Well, today, so if you've dialed in before, glad to have you. It's your first time watching, or if you're catching this on the podcast, Wayfind Marketing Live every Friday at noon. We're here, and really the whole reason that we're doing this live stream, we started this back in March, and we really want to do two things with business owners and nonprofit leaders, and that's encourage and equip. Running, growing a business is hard in a normal year, and this has been anything but a normal year. And so we like to share tips and ideas, things that you can use to grow your business. And last week, we kicked off a new series that's going to take us through at least the end of November. And we are calling this series Navigating an Opportunity. And I'm really excited about this because we are going to be talking with different business owners and different business leaders. And we're just we've got a handful of questions that we're going to ask everybody. And really what we want to do is we want to encourage you by sharing stories of other people who have found opportunity. They've been pushing forward. They've been pressing through, enduring, persevering, but continuing to move forward to find opportunities. And sometimes it's maybe not moving forward. Maybe it's having to go in a different direction, but they're still moving, finding opportunity, creating opportunity where in some cases they didn't expect it. And so anyway, we're going to start this off today with actually having a conversation about us, about Wayfind. And so I get to be the interviewee, and Annie Laurie is going to do the interviewing, which not everybody knows that, Annie Laurie, that you were a reporter once upon a time.
Very long time ago.
And so this is taking you back to your roots.
Oh yeah, my reporter roots.
And but really, what we're going to do is we encourage you because I get it. We get it. You run into business, leading, especially in uncertain times, is hard. But there's opportunity, and sometimes again may not be what you expect. And so we're gonna go ahead and dive in. So, Annie Laurie,
all right,
it's all you.
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited about this series too. You know, I think a lot of times when we're faced with some kind of conflict or crisis, we have that instinctual response of fight, flight, or freeze. And what I love about what we have in mind with this series is that these are fighters. You know, they're people we know. They're friends of ours, clients of ours that have fought their way through, and they didn't give up. And, you know, it's sort of that, that underdog Rocky story that always makes people feel really inspired. You know, I think we're going to hear some really good things. And I'm glad we're starting with Wayfind because Wayfind has a fun story to tell about how this year has looked for us. So why don't you just begin there at January 1 before craziness ensued? What did you think this year was going to look like? What were you planning? What were you forecasting? What was on your mind then?
Yeah. So before to give a little bit of context there, 2018 was a phenomenal year for us. We more than doubled what we did in 2017, and a lot of lessons learned. We did some things really well. There's some things that, in looking back, I didn't want to repeat. So 2019 was kind of a step back year. And a friend of mine, Bob, who was on here last week, he's been on here a couple of times. He talks about his coaching. He said, when you approach a year or a quarter, you think about step back, set up, and step on it, basically. And so last year was a little bit of a step back year to kind of retool and figure out where we really wanted to focus. So coming into 2020, we had a pretty aggressive growth plan, and with a much stronger understanding of who we really wanted to serve. And so intentionally, we made a shift to focus on business to business and service-based companies. refine the way that we were doing some things. And so coming into 2020, I was super optimistic about where we were going. We had good movement, good traction, good momentum coming out of 19. And so, yeah, I was approaching it as a very optimistic year, and I was excited about the direction that we were going in. Felt like in the 5 years, because I launched Wayfind February of 2015, and like a lot of companies, there's a lot of refining in the business, trying to get more clarity on where we fit, who we can serve best. And so coming into this year, I felt like as a team, as the leader of the team, I felt like we had the most clarity in that regards than what we've had in the entirety of the business.
So about springtime, things started to take a really interesting direction. At what point, when the pandemic was starting to become what it has become, when did you start to feel alarmed? When did you start to think, okay, we need to redirecting?
Well, I think there was sort of this starting to build up, back in February, and prior to February, it's like, okay, this is happening. The gravity of it wasn't on the radar. It wasn't something that I was concerned about. And of course, we moved through February, get towards the end of February, getting into March, becoming more apparent that, okay, this is going to have impact. And being in the marketing space, historically, anytime there's been sort of an impact, any sort of a decline, marketing usually takes a pretty big hit, because in many cases, marketing is seen as an important, but not as necessary. And so when folks are trying to cut the budgets, a lot of times marketing gets tossed out. So there was a lot of uncertainty, along with everybody else, about how that was going to affect us, what impact that was going to have. And so yeah, there was a lot of different thoughts and feelings. But thankfully, I've got a great network of peers. I'm in a Vistage group, so there's other people there who rallied together. I have a great business coach, a guy named John Salika, who's been on here before. And so, underneath of it all is just, I know God's going to be in control of this. And so there's a deeper faith, there's a deeper hope, that he's going to take care of us. I need to be diligent. I need to be wise. So yeah, as those things started unfolding, there was a mixture of different thoughts and feelings, and all kinds of different things.
And when things shut down, when we came to that screeching halt, what was the impact on Wayfind? How did you begin to feel that?
Well, initially there was a little bit of when we realized things were starting to shut down, I didn't know what the immediate impact was going to be. When we started realizing, okay, businesses are going to be closing down, and that directly affected several of our clients, whose businesses they had to close their doors, and at least temporarily. So we knew there was going to be impact. So we had a couple of folks that went through that, and we kept serving them. We had several months where one client in particular, I'm thinking of, we didn't charge them anything, but we continued to try to keep their momentum moving forward. And thankfully, after about 6 or 8 weeks, they were able to reopen. And a big thing that was helpful, I know, for a lot of businesses, was being able to get the PPP or the CARES Act, being able to get some of that additional money coming in. And so we had some clients who had to step back. We lost a couple of clients. So it definitely impacted us.
And how did your priorities begin to shift?
Well, I remember mid-March, just here in my office and thinking through, okay, what can I do? And there's I think the weekend before everything shut down, my oldest son and I went on a parent-child weekend, and we had a great time. And one of the things that one of the leaders talked about, which is sometimes the best things that we hear from other people, are things that we already know but need to be reminded of. And in that particular weekend, one of the things we talked about was mindset and growth versus scarcity. And so when I look at an opportunity, when I look at a situation, I can either approach it from the perspective of, okay, I may not like the circumstances, but I can do something. There's always a choice. I may not like my choices, but I still have a choice. I can do something. And that's the growth mindset. Scarcity is more, it retreats in fear and sort of hunkers down. It's more of the ostrich strategy. Go bury my head in the sand. And that wasn't an option. So the priorities shifted in that. I thought, well, I can't control what other people are going to do, but certainly can control what we do as a team. And so we doubled down on marketing. I mean, we doubled down on creating content. We started this weekly live stream. Some of these were things that we had talked about, but now it just became that much more important to stay visible, stay in front of people, encourage people, try to find ways to stay relevant. And I started doing, so we started doing this weekly live stream. We actually started doing this twice a week, which we did that for about 6 weeks. And then we realized, okay, that's going to be a little bit more than we can maintain. So we continue to do this on Fridays. I started out doing a daily marketing tip video, creating content. We started sending out regular emails to our email list. Things that we know to do, but just hadn't been a priority for us at that point, because other things were already happening. But yeah, so a lot of it just became, let's stay visible. Let's encourage people. Let's try to find a way to use what we know to help other people as much as possible.
Earlier you said when there's some sort of economic slowdown or recession, marketing is often one of the first things to go. Yet you made the bold decision to double down on marketing instead. And it's very interesting. How has that impacted the company, that decision?
Well, it was I think that was providentially, that was the right move to make, because what that did, again, is it created visibility. I think it's created, it's helped increase the trust that people have in us to be able to help them. And it's been interesting too, because another unique aspect of this whole season that we're in is there's actually been, what I've seen and experienced is that whereas in the past, some people would step back from marketing, and some have. I mean, if they don't have any cash, there's no need to do, there's nothing to do marketing with. Well, that's not true. You can still do marketing without cash. It's just more challenging. But I've had more conversations with people who were actually looking to marketing as a lifeline, because they recognize that if they didn't do something, they didn't change the way they were trying to get in front of potential customers, they weren't going to make it. So it's almost like, because it's so different than downturns in the past, and the circumstances are so unique that instead of marketing just being something that people could toss to the side, a lot of people are actually looking at marketing as how they're going to survive.
Right. One buzzword that has emerged this year is pivot. Everybody's talking about pivoting your business. And, that was one of the first conversations I remember having with you, is talking about pivoting. And what does that look like for Wayfind now? How is a Wayfind different today than we were 12 months ago?
Well, I think for us, a lot of the pivoting was more, it was done before all of this started. That was just us clarifying who it is that we're serving, that B2B and service-based companies. That's really been the niche that we've focused on. And so being intentional to stay focused on that particular type of business and having that clarity. I think the biggest thing was more accelerating things that we already were doing and wanted to do more of.
Mhm.
And so that's ultimately for us, it hasn't been a big pivot. Now we've seen some of our clients obviously need to pivot
Mhm.
and adapt and do things a lot differently. And we've been able to help some of our clients through that. We've been able to help think through what their messaging looked like. And that's a big pivot for a lot of companies, is even if their services fundamentally haven't changed or shifted, the messaging has shifted, because now it's, in some cases, it's not about thriving, it's about surviving.
Mhm.
So that's been a shift that a lot of companies have had to make.
Yeah, the messaging shift cannot be underestimated. If you're not making that shift, you're tone deaf, and people aren't going to listen. And I think that's really important. Um, what other opportunities had have you seen come out of this year that you weren't expecting?
You know, it's there have been opportunities to work with folks whose businesses are providing a needed service.
Hmm.
And so while we've had some clients who have really taken a big hit, when they're getting shut down. But on the flip side, we have some clients that we've had the opportunity to serve by getting them out to a broader audience,
Hmm.
and because their service is needed, it's a helpful service, and so there's been some unexpected opportunity in that regard.
Hmm.
And just having the opportunity to meet and talk with a lot of different business owners who I probably wouldn't have had the chance or the opportunity to meet in other circumstances.
How do you feel like you've grown as a leader this year as a result of the changes and the opportunities that you've encountered?
Um, that's a good question. I would say one of the things as a leader is just it's the reminder, and it's, again, some of these are things that I know.
Right.
I mean, I've owned several companies and have been in this role for 5.5 years, but it's a reminder of, I need help. I need other people on my team to be able to speak into me, and vice versa, having opportunities to give and share with others from my experiences. And so, be it on our team, be it things like Vistage, it's the how crucial it is to have that network and those relationships that become pivotal,
Mhm.
that become foundational for moving forward.
So, based on all this and everything that you've experienced thus far, what is your big encouragement to other business owners as they're looking to wrap up what has been a pretty challenging year?
Yeah, I would say, just as I think through the different business owners that I know, and nonprofit leaders that we know, and that we've had the opportunity to work with and hear their stories, is there's opportunity in some form or fashion. And so we lead, or I lead a master marketing mastermind group that meets monthly. And just hearing some of the stories from folks in that group, we have one business owner in particular who I'm hoping we can get on here in the next few weeks, who she has had to, her business was shut down.
Mm.
And so she's been very creative with how she has retooled her service. She's in the travel and tourism industry. And so she's had to completely retool, but she's also had other unexpected opportunities using technology to use her experience and what she does in a different way. It's still related to everything that she's doing, but it takes on a different format. And so she's done just a great job of pushing forward, staying connected to peers, and looking for ways and resources to continue moving her business forward. So I think my encouragement is, look for those opportunities, ask for help, talk to other people, look for ideas. Again, opportunities may not be what you would have picked. It may not be your favorite idea, but there are opportunities out there. I mean, there's still lots of businesses that are growing. There's still people who are buying products and services. There are people who need products and services. Mm-hmm. And so just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, what else do you want to add?
I'll mention this just because I think it's worth noting. Sometimes, again, stay focused on what you're really good at and how you can help people. Again, the way you provide that particular service may shift in all of this. And so, go back to March when there's a lot of uncertainty, March, April, May in particular, as we're trying to figure out what all this looks like. I didn't know what that was going to look like for our business. And we're on trend right now. This could end up being one of our best years ever. And so that's more God's provision than anything. Just as we've had opportunity to partner with other businesses who are either looking to grow or who they've recognized that they need to be clear on their messaging, and they have given us the opportunity to work with them. So I'm very thankful for that. Thankful for our team and the folks that have helped pour into me to help me stay on track.
I think that's great. So the takeaway is look for opportunities and then double down on your marketing.
That's what's working for us.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this has been great. It's fun just to hear you talk about the company and what the years look like for you and for us, just from that broader perspective. So thanks for being willing to share all that with us today.
Absolutely. Glad to. And look forward to here in the next few weeks. A lot less talking from me and more talking from other business owners and leaders. We've got some nonprofit folks that we're going to be bringing on. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some great lessons shared. Now, next week, I will mention this, next Friday on the 9th, we will be re-showing one of our earlier episodes as we're going to take next Friday off. It's fall break in these here parts of West Tennessee. And so we're going to take some R&R. So we will be on next Friday. It'll be pre-recorded. It'll be one of our past episodes. But we'll be back again in 2 weeks. On the 16th, we'll be back live with a business owner. We'll have more information about that on social media. If you haven't signed up for our emails, go to wayfindmarketing.com. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom of the footer or catch the pop-up, drop in your email address, and you'll get notifications about our upcoming episodes. You can catch the podcast on Monday. Like us on YouTube. Just search for Wayfind Marketing, subscribe. You'll get notifications about these broadcasts, as well as our weekly marketing tip video. And so we hope you find this encouraging and that you walked away with something that's going to equip you to better grow your business. Did I miss anything, Laura? Or did that cover everything?
I think you got it all.
All right, Rusty, thanks for your comment, man. Appreciate it. Glad you're dialing in. And have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Bye.